Okay, everyone, we're going to begin our ceremony with some Hawaiian flavor. I'm going to blow the conch shell. And in our islands, before any sacred event, the officiating priest sounds a shell as a gesture to sort of drive away any ill spirits and to usher in everything divine. And sort of a true confession, that's usually my standard spiel before I start on a typical tourist wedding here in Hawaii. But the reality is, this shell is blown in many cultures throughout the world as sort of a spiritual prelude. In India, for example, the shell is sort of a sound that penetrates beyond the false ego and the mind and all the material coverings of the soul. And it kind of wakes the soul up. Just kind of like in the military, they've got that reveille to like wake you up in the morning. So the sound of the shell is a spiritual tone to awaken the soul to its dormant spiritual nature, to bring it to its full spiritual nature from the dormant state. So I'm going to blow it 3 times. First 2 sounds are short. Third is long and sustained, and I'm going to kind of give it all I've got on that third one. And that symbolizes long life and long relationship. So if everybody try to wish me some air on the third one. If you haven't noticed, it's a big shell. All right. It takes a lot of air to blow this thing, so everybody send me your air and we'll make it a nice protector. But I never inhaled. Everyone, we're all assembled together this beautiful afternoon here in the Hawaiian Islands on the 9th day of February, the year 2008. It's hard to believe it's the dead of winter, isn't it? So here we are. Probably today we might get a wind chill factor of like 78 or something. I mean, I don't think it matters what anyone's religious or spiritual ideologies. You know, how can you not feel the presence of God or the divine presence or whatever is the supreme? We're standing under the shade of these incredible monkey pine trees, reaching off to the sky. In any direction you look, it's magical. One direction, we got the incredible Ko'olau mountains, very precipitously reaching up into the sky. The other direction, the beautiful Pacific Ocean, and the little Menehune Pond in here, which is an ancient Hawaiian fishing pond. And everywhere you look, there's palms and philodendrons going up the trees, and it's sort of a magical spiritual place. And in this very inspired setting, we're going to perform a sacred ceremony of matrimony. Beautiful sounds of the birds singing, sounds of nature, sort of in symphony with the beautiful sounds of the ukulele. And in this very beautiful place, we're going to join heart and soul, the divine dance of love between John and Stacy. And what we're celebrating today, this union divine love, who will ever contest the fact that that love is what makes life worth living? Isn't it? I mean, we are all, the soul is all about love. That's just, you can't take at any moment the desire for love from the soul. In fact, we'll see as soon as a child comes in this world, though the physical body cries out for the physical needs, boy, that soul just cries right out for love. Instantly, that child just generally falls right in love with its mommy. And boy, once it gets a taste of that sweet love of mommy, boy, then it seeks that love in daddy and other family members and friends, and if we're fortunate, one day our love becomes amorous or conjugal love. I mean, there is never a stage of life where love isn't way up here and everything else is down there. I had the honor recently of, I was called to one of the senior homes to do a wedding. I looked at the bride and groom's eyes, and just like John and Stacy, so in love, and you could see the tears of joy in their eyes. Groom, 96.
Aww.
He was robbing the cradle. The bride was 93. My point is that there's never a stage of life where we become apathetic or uninterested in love. I mean, there's so many desires we've had throughout our lives, so many things we had to have, some we got, some we didn't. Who can remember the litany? But the one thing that will always be foremost in our heart is that desire for love. It is so universal. It's not an American thing. It's not an Asian thing. It's not a European thing. It's a soul thing. And you can't take that affinity from the soul for love as much as you can't take heat and light away from fire, isn't it? Fire is all about heat and light, and the soul is all about love. But what we want to bring into light on the wedding day of John and Stacy is that though love is truly life's greatest treasure, we must very humbly acknowledge that love comes with deep and profound commitment and responsibility. A good example is like a child. You see a lot of beautiful children here. Whether we say it's a magical gift of God, a gift of nature, boy, they are so beautiful. But just ask their mom and dad, man, they're a lot of work. And it's like 24/7. And, you know, if mom and dad are irresponsible, even in a moment, the child can perish. So love is like that, isn't it? Love is something we can just, love is like a child that never grows up. It's always got to be nurtured, and always got to be protected at every stage. Because in a moment, it can be destroyed. Just like, how many people here have ever been to a Jewish wedding? You see that custom where they take the champagne glass? It's kind of really illustrates the point. They'll take a champagne glass and they'll put it in a little cloth bag or something, and I don't know what is it, groom or the rabbi, somebody stomps on it. And then they'll go on to explain that as this perfect glass was destroyed in a moment and can never be put back together again, so can a relationship. One moment of carelessness. But we're not talking about glass. We're talking about something infinitely more precious than a piece of glass. John and Stacy, we're talking about your hearts. You have given each other your hearts already. Today it becomes official that you're giving one another the most precious thing that you have to give. That's your heart. Now think about this. When you've given someone your heart, there's nothing else to give. Isn't it? There's nothing left. That's the quintessence of the very being. Anybody can give their body. Certainly anybody can give their words. But boy, that heart is the last thing we relinquish. But you crush that heart with a moment of betrayal or what have you. You crush that heart. I'm telling you, all the king's horses and all the king's men, and I'll translate that to modern language, all the therapy and all the Prozac are never quite going to put that heart back together. Now, you're going to make vows to each other in a moment, and we're all here to encourage you and admonish you that the vows you're making today will be tested.